Alright guys, welcome back. This is the Hearthmind Conqueror series number 1, and this is going to be our grand final tonight between Macrohard and Fantomfrog. Macrohard is bringing with today Paladin, Druid, and a Hunter, and Fantomfrog's playing Mage, Druid, Paladin. I did get to see a little bit of Macrohard's games earlier. He's got it looks like a ramp druid. I didn't get to see if it had the combo or not. And the hunter does look like the fairly standard mid-range hunter. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to see any of Fantomfrog's, so his decks are a mystery to me at this point. Did you guys get to see any of his matches earlier?
Unfortunately not, and I'm very interested to see it because there's quite a few viable mages around right now. Same with the druid and same with the pally. It can either be the control one or the more mid-rangey, depending on his dudes.
Yeah, where the dudes land, what the dudes do, you know.
Yeah.
So, all right. If the guys are ready, we can jump right into this first matchup because it is starting to get late here, and I'm sure everybody would like to go to bed at some point, including the competitors. You know, we don't want them to fall asleep if we have another control versus control drag out here. So,
Sleep is for the weak.
very true, very true. Sleep does not get you to legend, huh?
Exactly.
What do you guys think they'll start here? Start with here?
Druid, probably.
Yeah, we probably druid.
Druid is always a safe bet. I mean, it really doesn't have those bad matchups.
I think Paladin could be an opener for either of them too, because Paladin has pretty good across the board matchups. I mean, the Paladin is a little bit weak to Mech Mage sometimes, if it's the faster, more mid-rangey version, because the Blast Mage can just wreck a board of dudes so easily. But other than that, like I definitely think Paladin is a reasonable pick. At least from Fantomfrog's side, for sure.
Well, if he is running a mech mage, that would be my pick because a mech mage has a good matchup with all those decks. If that pally is a mid range and not the control type.
The mech mage's matchup against everything is equal to the amount of mech warpers in the opening hand.
Okay, so it is going to be a Mech Mage against the Hunter to start with.
Which this is the mid range hunter, so it has a better matchup against the mage than a pure face hunter would.
And he does not have a Mech Warper in his opening hand, which, especially holding the coin and a Clockwork Gnome, I'm sure he's not too happy about.
Chugga, chugga, chugga.
Yeah, the Chugga is huge against any weapon class.
Ooh, that's a good draw. That directly counters the 2-1.
It does, but the chugga here, if he can develop that and freeze for a few turns, he's going to be doing okay.
Mm.
Yeah, I would agree there. Though the freezing trap is in hand, and that could stop the snow chugger.
The thing with the freezing trap is, if the hunter decides to kill the 2-1, then he pretty much tells that it is a freezing trap.
It's
And
possible
the can play around it.
if he did that, it's still possible to be a snake trap.
Theoretically, yes. Theoretically, yes. But at this point, you have to assume it's a freezing. Well, he didn't play the trap, so.
Yeah. But if you were to do it, you'd probably assume freezing.
I think Tinkertown is the obvious play here.
I think so. It's 4 HP.
Because he doesn't have a Blast Mage in his hand, so the Spider Tank, like, while that probably would guarantee him having a mech going into turn 4, without having the Blast Mage in hand right now, it's...
Coin Yeti. Coin Shredder. Shredder makes sense because Shredder is a lot of HP. Because it usually gets something that has 2 or 3 HP.
Yeah, so it's at minimum pretty much the same health as a Yeti that you're gonna have to deal with.
Yeah, at reasonable minimum.
Yeah, I mean, granted, you can get the novice engineers and things like that out of there, but
It's gonna get frozen though,
Oh yeah,
which is great value because apart from Boom, there's really no higher mana cost minions in the Mech Mage.
you probably started out with Tinkertown Technician while you still have a mech. I guess it doesn't matter because if you do that, you'd probably play the gnome. But you probably want to see what spare part you get.
Well, he was really testing the trap, but this deck looks like the exact list that I'm running right now, and it only has 2 freezing traps, which means that second scientist is not going to pull out anything.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I usually tend to go for 2 scientists, 2 secret builds myself, because I think secrets are kind of bad unless a scientist gets them.
Well, it's huge value if you get to pull it off, and usually you do. But in this case, unless it's a different build, he's not going to get that value.
I think you play a freezing trap just because you don't have to deal with that now, and then you can go face with everything.
Oh, I agree. And the Tinkertown is really bad if you don't have a mech in play. And if it costs 5 mana, and he happens not to have a mech in play, then it's just a dead card.
Yeah,
alright, and he did pick up the Blast Mage now, but
no mech.
yeah, no mech to activate it, and it's not like the board was last turn and the turn before where there was a spread of 1 health minions. So it's not like it's a guaranteed, for the most part, kill at this point. So
If he would kill Huffer with it, it'd be worth it, but that's not a guarantee. And obviously it's impossible right now because he doesn't have a 1 mana mech to trigger it or
I think
to enable it.
next turn is Yeti and Stealth the Yeti to guarantee that you have the Blast Mage, but that makes sense too.
yeah, because
That saves you more health.
Mm.
and it effectively accomplishes the same thing too, of allowing your Yeti to live here unless he were to spend the kill command on it.
I don't think you do though, because High Main on turn 6 is just so desirable.
Yeah,
It
and
is, but at the same time, you preserve your whole board if you do that play. I don't know, either way is fine. I wouldn't be opposed to either one of those plays.
You don't need your board if you play High Main. Because the only answer would be a Polymorph or a Fireball, and even then they're spending their whole turn.
And I'm not expecting it to see a polymorph in that mage deck.
Yeah.
It looks like the standard mech mage list that doesn't run it.
I think they used to until they figured out that you could just play Scientist and Mirror Entity.
so he does kill command here. I'm kind of surprised by that.
Well, turn off Blast Mage. Keep your board.
Yeah.
Makes sense. It's not the play I would have gone for, probably.
Like I said, I'm kind of leaning towards the play he did, but the high main one was fine as well.
Mm-hmm.
And an interesting thing here that, like, an option that opened him for him is with the Huffer.
Oh, yeah.
Since
I
it's
saw
a
that.
charge, he could trade into something with it and then bounce it back to his hand to play it again.
He may actually do that this turn.
Yeah, to consume the mirror entity, or he could bounce the web spinner just to give his opponent a web spinner.
Why not attack the base first?
Or he could have even attacked the spider tank before he did that.
Yeah, which would have been better. Do you think it was Vaporize, or was that a misplay?
Considering it's 2 a.m. where we are, so it's wherever he is, it's late, it might have been a misplay.
Probably a misplay.
Yeah.
And he's been battling through a bracket of over 100 players by now.
Yeah.
So you can't expect those guys to play perfect.
probably has to fireball the 4/4 and hero power the web spinner. I don't see another way. You can't let the board deal damage to you for a turn, because then you're looking at dying very, very soon.
Yeah, because Hunter, right?
Yeah, as Hunter, yeah. This works also.
Even though by now he knows it's the mid-range type of hunter, you still have a lot of burst in there. Still a lot that a hunter can do to deal a lot of damage in a short period of time.
Oh, absolutely. I was playing in a team tournament last week, and one of my teammates was playing a hunter that it was similar to this build, just it was slightly slower even. And then one of the matchups, she was playing against a warlock, and kind of started to fall behind on the board, and just decided, I said, okay, well, I guess it's time to go face, and actually ended up stealing out the matchup from the deck that wasn't even intended to be a face hunter.
Yeah. Hunter always has the ability to go face.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the boons of their hero power. Like, right here, look, you're looking at his board with the Eagle Horn bow plus the shot. He had 8 damage on board.
I do agree with trading there, because there was a good chance you could get a good beast. Possibly, let's say, King Crush.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I didn't disagree with the trade. I was just thinking in the sense of what he had available to him at that point. And the Hungry Crab is not a bad pickup either, because now he can play that into the mirror entity.
Well played.
Well, right now we see it's game because there's no taunt in the mech deck, and he had way more damage available to him than needed.
Okay, so the first game is going to go to... I got to look at my little list here. That's going to be Macrohard's Hunter. So he has Paladin and Druid remaining. Do you think Fantomfrog's going to stick with the Mech Mage again, or do you think he's going to switch it up, knowing that he's playing against Paladin and Druid? Paladin or Druid.
It really depends on what flavor the Paladin is. So I would switch just to test that out.
Now, would you
go to Druid or his own Paladin, depending on what Paladin he's playing?
Yeah, I honestly, I think I like Paladin at this point, because Paladin can definitely win against Druid. Like, I mean, at least in my experience, it's a little bit of a 50-50, but it depends a lot on the list that each one is running. Alright, so they are getting into the match here, so we're going to see what the two decks are that they're playing. Right.
Also, if Brock switches decks, he keeps his opponent guessing. If he stays with the same deck, his opponent knows exactly what he's going against.
Yeah, though, also, too, he reveals less information for later matchups.
Well, also true.
And he did stick with the Mech Mage again, and Macro went to his Druid, which from the opening hand you see the wild growth. It is a ramp, like I said earlier.
Hello.
So the question here is how taunt heavy that Druid is.
From what I saw of it before, it didn't look like it was nearly as taunt heavy as the list that I believe it was Void was running. And if you look at this start here for Fantomfrog with double Mech Warper, if he had the coin, that would be like the god draw right there. Wow, and another Clockwork Gnome.
Oh man, that's insane. He can play his whole hand by turn 3.
And there's no swipe in Macrohard's deck, or excuse me, hand.
Okay, so what does Fantomfrog play for the next game?
Yeah, pretty much, because Mech Warper, Like this is one of those things that's so hard to come back from because the card just snowballs so fast. And I mean, he could even draw into a Yeti here and be able to play Mech Warper Yeti next turn.
So insane.
And the Shade is the obvious play, but it really doesn't do anything. It's way too slow for what Fantomfrog brought onto board.
Yeah, and I mean, the only other option would have been to Hero Power to kill one of the 2/1s.
Wow, that
Oh,
curve.
that's just icing on the cake.
Though by next turn, the Shade will have 3 health. So,
But even just the damage.
oh,
Druid is
absolutely.
gonna die
He's
on
5/4 on the board. By Mech-Made standard, that's a big minion.
Yeah. It's the second biggest only to Ananitas, right?
Damage-wise, yes. Well, Dr. Boom.
Ah, yes. How could I forget Dr. Boom?
Oh, there's the swipe.
That's a
Okay, so that's step 1 to surviving against the Mech Mage. That's definitely really, really good.
I think you actually swiped the Mech Warper. Or, no, because he's eliminated his
No.
whole hand. It's not really threatening at this point.
I disagree if he goes for that.
For the
Yeah,
Warper.
I would kill the biggest threat at this point, and the biggest threat is not the Mech Warper anymore, because Fantomfrog's going to be top decking.
Yep. But that swipe pickup turned the game into the Druid's favor. I actually think the Druid's winning now.
Yeah, I disagree with this play.
Swipe. Mech Warper. I disagree also.
And no trade, interesting. Okay, never mind, it was just delayed.
Last Mage most likely is going to kill the Shade. Definitely worth the risk.
Oh, absolutely. He's got the kill.
Yeah,
Yep.
though Macro does have Innervate Dr. Boom right here, which...
When you have the mana to play it, you should play it.
Yeah, and it's not going to be easy to deal with. Like, he'd have to trade... Or, well, he does have the Frostbolt, so he could Frostbolt, trade the Spider Tank, and ping it.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, the Annoyotron helps as well.
That's actually a very good pickup.
You just play it and go total face.
At this point, I agree.
Hero power the face.
Because you don't have resources in your hand and won't draw into enough resources soon to deal with Dr. Boom and then do damage. Because by the time you deal with Dr. Boom, there's going to be new threats and new taunts.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go face.
He is at 9. If he hero powers, which I believe he will.
I would not be even opposed to frostbolting.
I think I would, just because you could always do that next turn. Plus the extra hero power the following turn, so you get an extra damage out.
Though Frostbolt does deny him the hero power.
Yeah.
In that case, if the bombs don't hit, the Dr. Boom would have to attack the Annoyotron.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
He's one off of innervating Cenarius.
He's probably going to innervate Harrison. Well, I guess he just takes a risk that he's going to have a good enough board and be alive to innervate Cenarius for the taunt.
Okay, 2 off lethal.
That is close. That gets him closer.
Yeah, might as well push the damage.
And you might as well use the hero power just because you're fishing for damage right now, and that's free. Hero power plus Frostbolt the next turn is a kill, so he absolutely has to have a heal. And he doesn't get it, so that is game.
Well, hero power makes him 1 off lethal. Hero power
Oh, right.
plus Belcher.
So there is hope.
Well, he went for Scenarios, so that's game.
Yep, that is game. That is game.
Yeah,
Well played.
I think Scenarius was the correct play there, though.
Oh my gosh, the BM. Whoops. Oh man, I missed. Oh, that's terrible. Oh wait, no, I have a fireball. I feel so bad for Macrohard, especially we had a moment of celebration that the opponent messed up.
Oh, no. There's
Yeah,
no way.
Probably.
I don't think anyone was falling for that one.
No, I don't think so either.
So now we have 2 druids and 2 paladins.
Yeah, so I think... You think it's just going to be druid mirror match here?
Well, we know what Macro's druid is. We don't know what Frog's druid looks like yet. So in that sense, I would kind of favor Frog if they did go for a druid mirror match.
Yeah, it's really kind of hard to pick at this point, I think, because you really, like you said, from Macro's, or Frog's standpoint, sorry.
Well, it really depends on what their pallies are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just thinking, the person who has the slowest paladin looks like they're going to win, because slower paladins are better at having answers against druids, in my opinion. So I think it's better against druid, and slower paladin wins the paladin mirror match.
Well, it's a paladin mirror match, so this will really be very important for the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
And judging from the opening hand, neither one of them is probably a particularly slow paladin, because you see the knife juggler in both hands, and knife juggler is usually a telltale sign in a paladin if it is like the more like faster mid-range compared to a control, because that's usually one of the first cards that gets dropped if you're aiming towards the control angle of it.
Probably coin knife juggler.
Yeah, I would not be opposed to a coin knife juggler there, though a coin mini bot might be better.
Yeah, possibly.
Because the mini bot would trade with opposing knife juggler or dude, whatever happened to come out.
Decide to save coin. I imagine he wants a 4-drop, either True Silver or Shredder out on turn 3.
Yeah, plus he also has consecration too, so he is definitely full in the 4 category.
Mm-hmm.
And he has the equality paired with it right from the get-go, which is essentially a full board clear for 6 mana.
Do you like hero power or mind control tech?
I would play hero power just because every paladin these days plays muster for battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that, holding on to the mind control tech.
Reporting for duty.
Good hit.
Yeah, he got the good knife,
Go face
so...
because well, Frog is going to trade anyway, so might as well get that 3 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Now, which 4-drop would you put out here? Do you go for the True Silver or do you go for the Shredder?
I think you go for knife juggler hero power, honestly.
I wonder.
Interesting. I do like that, though.
Okay, so he decides Shredder's better. It's a big body, but I think Shredder is worse against True Silver, and Knife Juggler, you get a chance to kill the 1/1 right away, and you get hero power value, and you develop a Knife Juggler, which is great to have for turns later.
Well, it did pull the mind control tech out, though. And now you've seen that Fantomfrog drew into the muster for battle.
Combo
So,
with Knife Juggler.
hey, he's one
Well,
turn
he's gonna
off of
go for-
that.
He's going to
Yeah.
go for True Silver right now, which is going to get Harrison the following turn.
I wonder.
Yeah, looks like that's the way the game is gonna go. No real reason to hope that. definitely no reason to quartermaster. So looks like Harrison is going to happen. Maybe Lothep just because it trades better with the 4 attack stuff.
Or he could Aldor and Dude. That's another option.
Well, he's going to get value out of that Treader.
And also he has the Knife Juggler Muster here.
I'm not sure if I would use it just yet, because you do it just pretty much for 3 damage to the face, and then Consecration just wrecks the whole thing.
Yeah. I like Lothep more.
And there's the Kezan Mystic again. We've been seeing her turning up in a lot of these decks.
She's almost an auto win if she's drawn at the right time and against the right deck, obviously. But her impact is insane.
Both Mech Mage and Hunter are very strong in the meta now, so I'm not opposed to putting that in a deck.
Yeah, and against the Mech Mage in particular, with the Mirror Entity, the Mystic curves out perfectly too. If they play it on curve on turn 3, the Mirror Entity, I mean, obviously they want to get it from their Mad Scientist, but if it comes out on 3, the Mystic comes turn 4 and directly counters it. Like you said, that's almost an auto win against them, because they're losing tempo from having played that on turn 3.
Yeah.
And then you deny the secret to them and essentially double the value because you're getting it, whatever they play, copied on your side.
So you steal their 3 mana, you make them use 3 mana, and then you spend 3 mana for free, and then whatever minion they play, you also get a copy of that minion. So that's a lot of tempo.
Yeah, it's pretty serious swing there.
Yeah.
Okay, this has got to be a Consecration turn.
Yeah,
Yes, and he immediately grabs it.
Okay, well my game looks a lot different than yours because I was about to call you crazy. My board was very small. I was far behind spectator mode.
I thought you were seeing more 0/0 Warlock Sludge Belchers.
Well, yeah, Consecration on a board of 0/0s is not exactly efficient.
Unfortunately, I've seen a lot of that spectator bug recently.
So who do you give the edge to at this point?
Well, we really have to see what else is in their decks, because at this point it can be anybody's game.
I think we've probably, like, if seeing the jugglers and that they're the mid-range version, I think we've seen about the top of the deck right here in terms of the Tyrion and the Dr. Boom.
Dr. Boom's king. He drew his first, so he should first.
And he is ahead on health too, but
Still has his Lotheb and well, they both have Tyrion. But
Lotheb
like I
is
said, it's really too early to say.
Lotheb stops the Equality Consecration combo, which is huge for Paladin here. Is gonna kill the Boom bot. Somewhat unlucky, not too bad.
Put your faith in the light.
And Tyrion. It's tough to play around. How do you play against this Tyrion?
Oh wow, I'm not sure I would do that.
It was a pretty quick decision. He was very confident in it. I just don't like giving your opponent the weapon that early. I feel like killing the opponent's Tyrion is doing them a favor.
And he took 6 in the face in the process.
Yeah.
he is sitting on the lay on hands though, and he has the heal off the True Silver, so I think he's really feeling as though his life isn't that much of an issue right now.
He's going to lose board though, because the 5/3 is gonna hit the Lotheb, and then he has the Sludge Belcher and the Shredder, which each have a 50-50 to hit the Boom, Dr. Boom. I imagine one of those should hit, so he should lose the board. And if it doesn't hit, then you just run the Knife Juggler in. Losing board is a pretty big deal. You have no equality combo. Wow, you didn't get the Knife Juggle.
But still, I mean, he traded a 3-1 into a 7-1, so it's not too bad.
Yeah. Lay on hands, I think you fall too far behind.
You give up too much tempo. I agree with playing Tyrion here. You have to get that board back.
And he didn't use the True Silver even though Tyrion might die. I guess it makes sense because True Silver would probably do nothing hitting the Belcher.
Yeah, and Lay on Hands is a tricky card, like, because you really have to find a place to fit it in, since it's similar to the way Sprint is, although Rogue has the option with Preparation to be able to fit it in a lot better.
Which is great.
Yeah, where you can play other cards along with it, because to spend your entire turn healing and drawing cards, like, yes, it is worth the mana you're spending, but you essentially give your opponent a free turn in exchange for that, where you're not developing anything on your side of the board. So there's specific times you can get away with it, and ones that you can't.
He thinks he can get away with it now.
Well, he really had no better choice.
Yeah, his health was dipping low enough that he needed to.
Mhm.
And with the weapon, he at least has the ability to clear one of the opposing minions to keep the board from going completely out of hand.
Hero power plus muster for battle.
Reporting for duty.
Looks like it.
Reporting for duty.
No good clear for Macrohard. Outdoor on that makes sense.
At this point, you have to. Your health is too low not to.
Yeah, he's actually dead here.
Oh yeah, because of the True Silver.
Yeah.
So, does playing the True Silver and attacking with it save him?
That would bring him to 11. I believe it would. Because there's 5 here.
Yeah. he
Plus
would
4,
be safe.
yeah. It would be 9 points, so he'd be alive by 2.
But that would take a lot of foresight. I'd be surprised if he played that. It's not a play I would do.
Yeah,
It would probably be a losing play anyway. You would probably end up losing the game if you True Silver. Yep, so that is game.
No time for games.
Unless Fantomfrog misses lethal, even though he just drew even more damage.
So, Fantomfrog is left with a Druid against a Paladin and Druid from Macro side.
I thought he was going for a little bit of the BM there, but I guess not. We'll pay back for last time.
Well played.
Because, you know, he could have got a little creative there since he had the Consecrate to fall back on in his hand.
Yeah,
You know, it started like he was going to trade the board and then, you know, turn around, stop, think, mouse over some cards, and then just plop the Consecrate down. You know,
that's what you've done.
No, that's not what I would have done. I just, you know, all those evil, spiteful people that I see on ladder that love to do things like that,
Sure.
I would never indulge in such behavior.
That is sarcasm, by the way.
Anyways, though, going into the next match, we got Fantomfrog's Druid as his last deck.
he only needs to win one, and the deck that he only needs to win one with is Druid. It's looking pretty bright for him.
Yeah, I would agree that he's in pretty good shape. Because, I mean, his opponent has Paladin and Druid available. So either one of those can, like, the Paladin can definitely win against Druid, and a Druid mirror match obviously can go either way.
Macrohard has already won with Hunter, so he's not able to play Hunter.
Yes, I'm sure that this was just a mistake on his part.
I must protect the wild. Let the hunt begin. I can see.
For Macrohard,
mentioned he's-
what do you play? Druid or Paladin?
Yeah, he immediately apologized as well.
I mean, it happens. It's accidental. So, what do you
And these
pick?
guys, like I said, have been going through such a long bracket to get here. Small errors are...
Yeah, they're bound to happen at this point. I mean, as far as what Macrohard picks going into this, I think it's really, because like we had said in the earlier series, he has to win with both decks. So I think it's more just what he's most confident with.
So naturally you go with your golden class, right?
Yeah, Golden was his Druid, correct?
Oh, apparently Macrohard doesn't have a golden druid.
It was on the other side.
I thought I saw him with it. It was on the other side though. I'm so far away from golden druid. So far.
Well, he did get the wild growth to start. But Fantomfrog got an innervate and a wild growth.
Oh wow.
And a swipe,
These are
that
really
is...
great.
My greetings. My greetings.
Some fast ramping for both players. It's kind of awkward. Next turn, Fantomfrog is going to be at 4 mana, so he won't be able to play Druid of the Claw. Innervating Druid of the Claw would waste a mana, and playing Shade would waste a mana.
Yeah, I was wondering why he did that. I was expecting him to innervate Shade.
I guess just playing the Wild Growth early makes sense.
Yeah, but what 4-drops is he really going to draw into unless he's running Sengens?
He just concedes to the fact that he's going to play Shade on 4, and this way Druid of the Claw can be a 5-drop, or a technically 4-drop because of Wild Growth. But he can actually play that on 5, which is nice. Innervate Wrath, is that what he's thinking about here? I think I disagree with Innervate Wrath.
Yes, I don't think the 3/3 is enough of a threat.
He's probably not going to run the 3/3 into the Druid of the Claw this turn. It looks like more of a Sylvanas turn, but looking from Fantomfrog's position, Druid really wants to spend 5 mana on a minion. So I don't think it that pressing of an issue that he has to take it out to prevent Wrath. But Wrath does happen.
Even still, I think that was correct. Wasting your innervate and a wrath
Yeah,
3/3. You know,
wasting the Innervate is the real biggie there. Keeper the Grove for a minion?
I must safeguard.
Kinda sucks, but
it does, but there was really no better way to do it.
that Sylvanas is probably going to come out. No, it's definitely coin. Dr. Boom didn't see the coin. You have the mana, you might as well, right? That's what we've learned about Hearthstone today.
Yes, I mean you have to, and you have a 7 drop for your next turn. So really, why not?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's really good. 2 Innervates, but nothing to actually play.
That hand is quite terrible.
Yeah, I agree. So you swipe and you Wrath and you hope that the the boombots don't hit anything good.
I
And then
actually,
stuff.
I think I like cycling here. Cycling and attacking with the keeper to clear boom.
So would you attack with the keeper first, guarantee that it doesn't die, or would you hope to get a little more value off of it before you ran it in with that play?
I would attack before clearing, or before playing the swipe.
So you would value a card more than you would value a 2/4 on the board.
At that point, I mean, because you look at the hand, the Force of Nature, which is not doing much at all right now without anything else.
Yeah.
I agree with Tim. Normally I wouldn't because I value a minion on board more than a card.
Mhm.
But you're sitting on 2 Innervates and a Force of Nature. It's nothing.
That
Yeah.
is a metric nothing. Do you Force of Nature this turn just to clear the 5/5?
Well, he's counting on getting the other piece of the combo.
Yeah. So is he
He's
gonna
trying to deal as much damage as he can.
Oh, he's just gonna hold off. That makes sense. Also, if he gets an Ancient of Lore, he's in an alright position. But he actually has to draw good stuff.
Unfortunately, he probably still has stuff like Zombie Chow to draw into.
Ancient of Lore, that's huge.
That is huge. Even though it's going to die to a 5/3.
He can double innervate a Belcher. Or he could double innervate Force of Nature.
And now this is interesting here, because this Shade might eat the big game hunter.
Well, it's going to hit at least once. Oh, okay, never mind. I just saw him attack.
Fantomfrog would be super happy with that.
Yeah, I'm saying if Macrohard plays his big game hunter here to deal with the Shade, that would be huge, because then Dr. Boom would come out essentially uncontested.
Yeah, that would be quite the swing because all of a sudden Fantomfrog would have a huge board compared to Macrohard having nothing.
Well, Sylvanas was contested a little bit.
Yeah. You just hide it behind a Belcher, hope the boombots don't hit it, and go face.
Where shall I strike?
And another Ancient, wow.
Is that better than Dr. Boom, though?
I think it is. I think at this point it is.
Yeah, I like
You're
it.
fishing for the other piece of your combo.
I don't think you would trade first if you're doing it. He likes Dr. Boom more. I like Dr. Boom more. Because now you have 3 minions on the board. Your opponent's going to scramble to play around combo that you don't have. And Ancient of Lore can always just happen the following turn. When you already have boombots developed.
Okay. I won't argue it too much. I wonder what he's thinking about. He's thinking about maybe getting rid of the boombots before playing Big Game Hunter?
Yeah, the ordering on how to take it out. Probably debating on if he's going to Keeper first or Innervate a Sylvanas first. If he's going to play a minion first before Big Game Hunter.
I have no time for games.
Harrison on both sides was really not that good.
It evens it out. That they're both terrible. Oh, that was actually really good. You can just Hero Power to kill that Ancient of Lore. And then you have to go for cards because you die to combo either way.
Oh, absolutely.
And you need cards.
And
The
he,
heel would be playing not to lose, and you need to win.
Yeah.
And he did
There's a
draw
second
his
combo.
his other piece right there.
Oh, yep. So the board has to be cleared or taunt. Who does go for taunt? He's gonna have to combo to clear board, which is really bad.
Can he though?
He can.
But he would have to use.
He would have to use his face on one of the taunts. He'd have to use a 4-2 on one of the other taunts. But he does clear everything. Oh yeah, that's better. Keep your minions that actually survive healthier.
Yeah, that's definitely the best way to do it.
Top deck combo.
Yeah, that's GG for Macro.
Just the force of nature alone does it.
I think he's wondering if there's a way to make it so that it doesn't look like he top decked him, like if he had lethal in hand before. But no, he top decked lethal, so
My greetings.
Well, not just that. He's trying not
Oh.
to show combo.
he's BMing. That too. My greetings, my greetings.
Huh, okay, or that.
Play.
They exchange pleasantries. And
Yeah.
that's game.
That is game.
So we will see Macro's Paladin after all. Or we actually did see it in the mirror match, but we'll see it again. And this is our second series that goes the full games.
Yeah.
Very interesting series though. Both this one and the third place match. So, since we already seen both decks, who do you guys think is going to take this?
My edge goes to Macrohard.
I will fight
I think
with
Paladin is slightly favored over Druid.
See, I would probably go the other way. Because Phantom, did we see how many copies of combo was he running? Only one?
We've only seen one.
Cause,
Oh, we don't have a deck list.
Yeah, because I was saying, if it was double combo, I would probably give the favor to Fantomfrog for sure. It's going to be a close match either way. But I like Fast Druid over Paladin.
And the Druid has an amazing opening.
And the Paladin has Keys and Mystic.
Which is not going to do very much right here.
Coin Wild Growth looks good because you have turn 3
When wall
Shade.
growth into basically turn 2 Shade, that's great.
Yeah. Turn 2 Shade, turn 3 Keeper. Tyrion, if only you were a 2-drop.
Yes, but that is not going to be the case here. This Shade is...
Really risky, actually, because imagine a muster for battle.
Oh,
Because
it's not
you
there.
don't have
Yeah,
another option.
I would say I like the risk because, number one, it fits the curve. And number two, this Shade is just going to... Like, he can just leave it sit and let it grow at this point.
I don't think you let it grow right now. I think you use it to kill the 1/1.
Well, he's not really afraid of the what do you call it, Quartermaster for another turn. I probably would have
He's like-
left it.
Yeah, I would let the Shade grow as well. Because like Tim said, the Quartermaster is not a threat until in the next turn.
And also,
But by
Consecrate
then,
would only kill the Shade. It wouldn't deal with the Keeper. And
Yeah.
that would consume your entire turn 4. I mean, that's my angle on it, at least, to have left it grow.
my playstyle against Paladin tends to be clear the dudes whenever you have a chance.
Well, the Warlock card appeared in my spectator mode now.
Great.
I've got the 0/0/0 Sludge Belcher.
Cool.
Yeah, very exciting.
It's Sludge Belcher buffed.
Why is it a Warlock card? How does that happen?
I don't know. Because it was buffed. I don't know. So it would be a 0 mana, 0/0 death rattle summon a 1/2 slime. So it would die right when you play it, which would summon a 1/2 slime. So it'd be 0 mana for a 1/2 taunt, which is strictly better than Goldshire Footman.
Anything's better than Goldshire Footman.
Wisp is not better than Goldshire Footman. Actually, we should have a discussion on that. Which is better, Wisp or Goldshire Footman?
I think we can safely say that they're both pretty bad.
Yeah, okay. End of discussion. Good talk.
Yeah. Now, this is looking very good for Fantomfrog right here. Like, he may be able to wrap it up in the next turn.
Ooh, that Harrison. So good against Paladin. And if he can hold off and use that on Ashbringer, that'll be pretty huge. Because Ashbringer, once Tyrion dies, is one of those cards that has a huge impact on the game.
And it would draw in 3 cards.
That's game right
That
there
too.
with the Innervate, though. Because he can
Oh,
Innervate
is it?
out the Force combo now.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
No,
No, he's
he'd be
gonna go-
1 short, yeah.
And I like that he holds off, because if he's 1 off and then next turn it would be, a huge heal or taunt, and
So he's just gonna make sure that he deals as much damage as possible. That really tells the opponent that he has combo, though. Oh no, he clears. Never
he
mind.
clears. I like the clear as well.
I thought I saw him hover over the face. Ooh, Cenarius is pretty good. No way to clear Tyrion? Actually, there is a way with Cenarius buff. That allows you to save the combo.
Yeah, or he could use Roar, and this will clear as well.
So I'm guessing he's running 2 copies.
Oh yeah, this is definitely better because it allows him to Jones the turn that Ashbringer comes out. I'd say that's game.
Even if that was his only copy, I think that was better. Because like Alex said, it's the same turn Harrison.
Yeah. Because it's over now. There's just not enough for the Paladin to do. He needed Equality Consecrate, and for the opponent to not draw the second Savage Roar.
Yeah, and he would have actually had the damage anyway with just the Force of Nature and what he has on the board right here.
Yeah.
Well played.
So that's definitely enough. Fantomfrog manages to get rid of all of his decks and win.
Yeah, and that was definitely well played. A good matchup. The Druid ran away with it though, because that's where I say like that matchup a lot of times tends to be like a 50-50, like who gets bored. Because if the Paladin like gets the early board and holds on to it, it can be hard at times for the Druid to come back from it, especially with like the True Silvers and things that can make some, like, I'm trying to think what I'm saying. I'm falling asleep here. The where they can run a True Silver and say like a dude or a mini bot into the Druid of the Claw, take that out and just continue pushing damage.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like if the Paladin like builds a solid early board, like a lot of times they can win through that, but if they get controlled by the Druid, like the Druid draws good with the zombie chows or rats or swipes.
Wild Growth.
Yeah, wild growth, they ramp into things perfectly. It's very hard for them to lose because they just have more big threats than Paladin does. So All in all, it was a good match. I mean, I was definitely impressed by both players there.
And both newcomers, actually all four,
Yeah, all
uh,
four of our
are
finalists this
newcomers in the
week.
top fours.
It's the first time we're seeing them in our Hearthmind finals, and it's great to see new players. And I mean, in the coming weeks, I'm sure we're going to see more and more because since we've switched to Conquest format for our Friday night tournaments, we've definitely gotten a good reception. We've seen more and more people coming out each week, so I'm sure it's just going to continue to go in that direction.
And next week, once again, we'll be partnering up with the MP Pool to bring you a $200 prize pool. So make sure you check that out.
So make sure you bring your OTK priest and win some money.
I think you may be the only one bringing the OTK priest there, Alex. So maybe the secret weapon that's going to win it all for you.
It's not exactly secret. I've said it for 2 casting.
No one knows the list though. They haven't seen it yet. Haven't seen it in action.
Play around the combo. They know what the combo is.
Yeah. But
Secret.
so yeah, I was just going to say that next week we will have Friday night starting at 8 p.m. will be the Conqueror Series number 2, which will be sponsored by M People, as Askier said. And we are going to be returning the Challenge Series in the coming weeks. We do not have a definite date yet, but I would say within the next 2 to 3 weeks probably it will be back. And we're going to be running that on a separate night. So for those of you that are fans of the varied formats that we ran in the past, that will be returning. Anything else that you guys wanted to add to this before we wrap it up?
No, just make sure to follow us on social media. The social media giveaways for February are still going on. There's still a chance to win some exciting prizes, so make sure to follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. You know the deal.
Yep, and like Askier said, you follow on any of the social medias, you're eligible for our giveaways this month, and the links to them are easy to find if you just go right to the Hearthmind.net website. On the sidebar, there's a little link there with all the different social medias, so it's right there for you. You just got to click it and then hop over to the respective site and click on the like button, and you are automatically entered for that. So hopefully you guys will get on that if you already haven't, and that'll also keep you up to date on all of our tournaments. Like I said, when the Challenge Series will be returning, you'll see that on social media, as well as all of the VODs for the various tournaments that we do and any other news coming out of Hearthmind. Anything else before we say goodnight, guys?
That's all.
All right.
That's it. See
That's
you guys
all.
next week.
All right. Take care, guys. Thanks for coming out.